them. As far as our relationship with Sierra Leone is concerned, I remember after you asked me to briefly tell you the whole history of our relationship with Sierra Leone. When I met your ex-president, he stood up and in response to my first presentation to him, he said, "Let me tell you one thing, that throughout our history of contact with Ahmadiyya, we have not come across a single instance where Ahmadiyya tried to meddle with politics in the name of religion. They knew the things which belonged to different compartments, and they never meddled with things immorally. And then he said that is one thing which reminded me to tell you. It was a compliment and also a sort of warning. He said that we have a golden principle, that you will never permit religion to interfere with politics. And although we have no complaints, but this is our principle, you must remember. So that is our past history. This is what we have never done. But in response to this very wise expression, I reminded him that, Your Excellency, you have said, you have expressed a golden principle. But let me remind you with respect that you have expressed only half a golden principle. The full golden principle should be that you will never permit politics to interfere with religion either. If you had said both these things, then this should be one full golden principle. So it's truth, but only half the truth. Religion has no right to interfere with politics, but politics has no right either to interfere with religion. And I must say, in his nobility, he accepted it with a broad smile and said, yes, you're right. So this is our role throughout the history of Ahmadiyyat, the presence of Ahmadiyyat. We have been serving the cause of the poor, the needy, those who need help in health or in education, without tying it with their becoming Ahmadis. But we have been preaching, of course, at the same time. And so far, to my knowledge, except for the beginning, in the early times, there used to be severe persecutions of Ahmadis at the hands of not only non-Ahmadi Muslims, but Christians and pagans and others. But that is buried in the past. To my knowledge, during the last, say, 20 years or so, I have never heard of any such thing happening in Sierra Leone.
Thank you very much, Your Holiness. My second question is, to what extent have the activities of Ahmadiyya mission affected by the rebel war in Sierra Leone?
I don't think it is a rebellion at all. It is just the Western propaganda or propaganda of some vested interest, if not Western propaganda, that they are presenting the picture of what is happening in, very tragic happenings are taking place in Sierra Leone, what is happening in Sierra Leone as a rebellion. There is no such thing. It's an invasion by forces which are bandits of robbers and dacoits who occupy an area and follow a scorched earth policy and destroy hospitals, schools, mosques, other places of worship. Rebels never do these things. Those who rebel against a regime, they don't destroy their own country. So when they occupy things, they try to establish peace through peaceful means. They want to promote such institutions as are made for the benefit of the people. But what we hear from Sierra Leone, from different sources, It is not at all a rebellion. It is an invasion of Sierra Leone, and very atrocious invasion of Sierra Leone by the forces of Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, you must remember, was one of the rebels in Liberia. According to the United Nations reports, he occupied most of the rural areas, and Mr. Johnson, on the other hand, was not as successful, according to those reports, I have not yet verified, as Taylor was. So they believe, many among them believe, that Taylor was more amenable for the United Nations forces. So he laid down his arms, accepted the truce, but the African organization preferred Johnson to Taylor, with the result that Johnson was given a share in the government, while Taylor was left out high and dry without any fruit of his erstwhile labors. This is what angered him, according to the reports, and he has become a sort of that hero robber who raids the neighboring country and brings the spoils back to his own country and maintains his forces with the help of those spoils. So I think this is the general picture as emerges from various reliable sources. The Ahmadi attitude to all such things is that of full condemnation, of course. Even if they were rebels, they had no right to destroy noble institutions. They had no right to slaughter and quarter the bodies of Dutch priests, his wife, his children, in such cold-blood, murderous attack on them. That is not the only crime they are committing against the Sierra Leone's. If they have a fight with the government, it's their affair. I have nothing to say. But what is the fault or the sin of the innocent Sierra Leone people? Why should they be made to suffer so terribly for the fault of any regime, if it indeed was a fault of a regime? What is happening, according to our information, is this, that they forcibly recruit people from an area and take them back to the places where the army is trained, the regiments, and then tattoo them with a special mark showing them to be rebels. Now they tell them, look here, now these marks on your body. If you are captured alive, you will be tortured to death by the forces of Sierra Leone, because they will count you as traitors. So you have no way left but to side with us and continue fighting. Now, one thing I have to say, and which indeed extremely